Good afternoon, and welcome back from the coffee break. Our next presentation is an update on peering DB, and so I'd like to introduce Ben Ryall to take us through that.
Thank you. Oh, maybe. Oh, there we go. Thank you. See if I can make this clicker work. So, good afternoon. Welcome back from coffee. Hopefully everyone's energized and ready. So, quick, short presentation on a few peering DB updates for to share with everyone in the room. You might have seen some of these already. If you haven't, hopefully they'll be useful and interesting. I'm Ben Ryall. I'm chair of the Outreach Committee for peering DB. For those that don't know, peering DB is formed of a number of different groups, mainly volunteer-based. And peering DB, hopefully everyone is already using it here, but if you don't know already, it's a database for kind of networks, internet exchange points, collocations, campuses, and everything you might want to do as a peering manager or peering coordinator. So talk through a few quick topics, a few people changes. We had our board elections recently, some updates on our V2 of search, KMZ or KMZ functionality for exporting data that I quite like as a feature personally, and also just a little bit about trying to use our beta and why we have that in place and what that means. So people changes, board elections we held recently. Job and Aaron were re-elected to the board. For the product committee, we've had a change in the chair of the committee, so the person who kind of shepherds and leads the group, and Stephen Manis has stood down after a number of years, and Jack has volunteered and stood up into that position. And the the product committee are the team that kind of drive the functionality and the development of the platform. And then finally, the admin committee, who are charged with kind of supporting functionality on admin requests, support requests, etc. We're looking for more volunteers for that group. If it's something you'd like to help with, feel free to email admin.com@lists.peeringdb.com, express your interest, and the team will be happy to follow up. Search, we're continuing to try and improve the search on the platform. We've got what we now call V2 search. You might have seen either you are using the beta search or click here to use the beta search on the page. Key thing to talk about here is we've introduced ISO 3166 support. So really that's the kind of 2-letter country code. So you can now search as the kind of examples here, IX in London or, IX in UK, etc., and it will give you kind of customized country-based results rather than trying to use the word and hope that either the data center, the IX, or someone's got that word in their record. More work to do. We're going to keep developing this. If there's something you'd like to see for search, feel free again to suggest that to us. You can talk to me now. You can create a GitHub entry, anywhere between the two, but we're continuing to drive that forwards. Web UI. Next thing we're trying to change, I think everyone probably knows the UI has been pretty consistent for a while now. We're trying to make it now so we have better device presentation. So a lot of us are running around at events like this. So having that consistent look for how the app loads on your mobile or your iPad or your laptop to not have to scroll around the screen. Lazy loading as well to try and improve how that page loads and performance of that page loading, and overall improving the presentation and just refreshing that. And you can see kind of an example here of what we're trying to drive towards there. Again, we're always looking for feedback here. Can't promise to incorporate every change suggestion, but always looking to have further feedback if there's something that you really like or something that really bugs you. Again, feel free to raise that to us. And then finally, talk about KMZs. We can auto-generate these now once a day, and then you can start to actually export data out of PeeringDB into a KMZ. And that maybe if you're trying to overlap a design or trying to think about planning for your network, you start to take that data and that location data we have out, and then make a KMZ of that, and then play around and overlap, I guess, with fiber or other kind of data points you might have from different operators or different providers. Continuing to drive this further, export searches to KMZ, need to check that, but improve visual attributes is the other piece. So we're going to continue driving this further and further, and DRT, I think, helped with the sponsorship and making this feature actually happen. So we appreciate that from them. and then beta testing. So whilst we probably all use the main www.peeringdb.com, we are looking for people to help try and beta test the features we're developing. We're moving beta closer to production, except for certain functionality, writing. And so that's separate from production, but you get early access to the new features we're doing. So whilst you can't edit your record, you can view, you can try out that search features, you can try the other features we're looking to roll out. Able to access it from beta.peeringdb.com. And again, we're trying to encourage this early feedback from maybe the more kind of technical users of the platform, like folks in here. And you can discuss that, like anything you find that doesn't work on PC at peeringdb.com. And that's it, really. Finally, thank you to our sponsors. We have many of them. It includes LINX, but all the logos are up here on the board. And really, at that point, happy to take any questions. And thank you. Easy.
No questions? Okay, thanks.
Thanks very much.
Okay, on to the next one. So we, for many years now, have tried to make a point of inviting other IXs to come and present. So I'm really pleased to say that we've got Harold here from the Vienna Internet Exchange, who's going to give us an update about what they've been up to.
Hello. Thank you, Jennifer, for the introduction. And thank you a lot for the very warm welcome. It was really nice when Holly from LINX approached me around half a year ago, and she asked me whether I want to present or make a guest presentation at the LINX meeting in February, and I had to answer, oh, sorry, I can't do that, because exactly on that day we have an AT-NOC meeting, so you can see .at. I come from Austria. And she said, what about one of the other upcoming meetings? And she suggested some of the dates, and well, May this year worked perfectly for me. I'm here, I'm really glad to see this community, and I really like this environment of openness where you have members of a membership-based organization where you can ask questions, get answers, get reports. It's really nice to see that, and I think we should try to also get a little bit of that level. We are far away from that so far. Okay, who am I? Maybe just to let you know. I'm working for Vienna University, so the exchange point and the academic network of Austria, which is called ACONET, and you can compare it to JISC in the UK, is run by the same team of people at the team of a department of the Vienna University Computer Center. So we are there about 15 people running the exchange point and the academic network. Also realized this only when I prepared this presentation. We have an Austrian academic networkers networking group, and together with a colleague from Klagenfurt, I'm chairing this group now for already 10 years. I'm involved in the foundation and of the maintaining of the AT-NOC mailing list. And if you want to see me in person, you can go to these academic or peering or RIPE meetings, and most probably we'll meet each other there. In my spare time, I like to move everything that is on two wheels and has no electricity inside, so pure mechanical, may it be on somewhere in the mountains or on the road, and it doesn't even have to make sense. It's even enough to make just fun. So I try to ride also some strange bikes, which it makes absolutely no sense. It's just fun. And during winter time, I try to improve my skills in table tennis. You see me here with a colleague. He's older than my father, and I have no chance against him. So always be aware of old men playing table tennis. About the exchange point itself, we are, compared to LINX, a rather new exchange point founded in 1996. It was founded at the Vienna University Computer Center and has never been put into its own legal entity, so it's still run by Vienna University Computer Center. We have currently 3 sites. One obviously started at the university, is still in the university, and with the time you see 5 years in between 1996 and 2001, we had many customers that asked for more rack space and more power around the exchange point. We couldn't facilitate that, and by that time Interaction built a data center in Vienna. Now they are acquired by Digital Realty, so it was our first partnership with house in Vienna. And in 2015, there was eShelter building a data center. They have been now acquired by NTT. So now we have 3 POPs in Vienna, and the topology is very easy. If you have 3, you have a triangle. So we have equipment in all of the 3 sites. In general, as a neutral university, we also want to treat our members all the same. So there's one contract for all of the members. We have a public pricing. There are no secrets. So if you want to become a member, you can have a look and you can get the same contract to pay the same like everybody. And a little bit about the numbers. I don't have a graph of the statistics because you all know that it's around 1.5 terabit, and currently we have 175 connected ASs. There should be all of the information you need about Wix at our webpage. In case not, please grab me later in the coffee break or at the social and tell me about that. When Holly approached me and asked if I can tell what has happened or news about Wix, I thought somehow that, well, I was recently at the LINX meeting and told, give a talk, so there's nothing new to tell you. And then I also looked it up when it was, and it was in 2018. So I thought, okay, maybe we have some news to tell you, and there are indeed some news, because we completely renewed all of our platform in the meantime. So we wanted to come from this one here, which you can see is a chassis-based platform, to this one here. So and by the way, we tidied up everything. So I will tell you how we got to this fixed form factor switches, 1/8 unit, and how we currently run our exchange point. And if you turn on the light, it's even more beautiful. What did we change and why did we change it? At that point in time, and we talk about around 2019, 2020, when we thought how we could build the new platform, we had the choice between just buying the next biggest box we can get and run it as long as possible, or try something new. Historically, we started the exchange point with a switch platform that was left over from the academic network. You take what you have and run it. And then we always looked at the bigger exchange points. So as you see on the size, we are middle-sized. So we mainly built the biggest boxes available that have already been in service at big exchange points like LINX. And we thought, okay, if it works for LINX, it will work for Wix for another 5 years, and we are happy. That worked perfectly well, but there's still room to improve. So the question was, should we stay with these big chassis, or should we go to these flexible switches? And at the end, we decided to go to the fixed form factor pizza boxes, because we learned with even what we have that we are much more flexible in terms of interface technology. So if you have a chassis-based switch, at some point in time it's old, and you cannot add a new type of interface. May it be the number of interfaces or speed, or the problem we had was the power per gigabit was just too high. So on a chassis, you are bound to that what is offered to be inserted in the chassis. Much easier migration means, well, when we made our last platform change, we had to recable everything. We had to do parallel cabling in order to be able to do the switch as fast as possible. And at the end, we connected around 250 cables from a 10 gigabit port to a 10 gigabit port, from a 100 gigabit port to a 100 gigabit port. So it was just work and the risk of something going wrong, but it has no advantage for the customer nor for us. So we wanted to reach a system or build a system where we just change something on the current cabling and also the cabling of the customers if there's the need to change something. And with these pizza boxes, we thought, okay, if we need something new, we build new building blocks. If we want to remove something because we don't need it anymore, maybe, for example, we don't have any 10 gig ports anymore, or we just need less and remove one boxes, but we don't have to touch the existing. Yeah. So it can stay the same as long as it is in use, and if it's not in use anymore, we can just remove it. Also, if you have a fixed chassis with line cards, you have the risk of introducing new hardware items. If there is a new generation of of interface types, let's say with a higher density of 100 gigabit ports or so, that you most probably have to install a new software on the box. Installing a new software on a chassis-based means all of the chassis has to be rebooted, you have an outage, and you have a risk of maybe changing from a very stable running software you have for months to something new, and you need this just because you have a new line card. So this is also a risk we don't have anymore on these pizza boxes. So at the end, we decided to go with Arista. We introduced 3 different flavors, and I'll show you a topology map afterwards so that you can easily see how it is connected. Within the network, or between the sites we operate, we needed to go from 10 gigabit technology to 100 gigabit technology, and because we only have single pairs of fiber, and getting fiber in Vienna is possible but not really cheap, we needed to find a way to multiplex it. The distances between the sites are between 7 and 20 miles, so it's something you could do on the short spans without any amplification, but as soon as you want to have WDM, you need something active, and we bought some Coriant Groove G30 systems, and Coriant has been bought by Infinera in the meantime, and for our purposes they pretty work well. And from that time on, we expect our system that we can grow as we need. So in case we need more customer ports, we just add more leaf switches, maybe with 10 gig, with 100 gig, with 400 gig, whatever is necessary. And if we want to have more capacity for the inter-site links, because we currently have, for example, a very small site, if this one grows, we just add more capacity on this inter-site link. Maybe we add another layer, or we add some switches, but in fact, we never have to touch the things that are already and currently running. And if at some point in time we get some new interface speeds, maybe 800 gig or whatever comes after, then we just add the new boxes and can operate it. So this is the current topology we have. You see here the upper part is the biggest site at Digital Realty. The bottom left one is at Vienna University, and the right one is the currently smallest one at NTT. And here we see already, well, I can tell you what we have done in order to upgrade it. When we upgraded from the old Brocade to the new Arista platform, we came from like 20-ish 100 gig ports to 64, because we had 2 of those 100 gig leaf switches, and we had when we started also 2 of these 2 switches have been the core switches at Digital Realty, but half a year later we wanted to double our 100 gig ports again, and we just moved the core switches from here to the leaf and introduced new core switches, and this was a good point in time for us, because in the meantime there was a new model available with 400 times 400 gigabits. So at the biggest site we have switch models that are 400 gigabit only, and we directly connect the 100 gigabit leaves, and for the 10 gigabit leaves we use breakout optics and cables, so to be able to connect them as well. You see also here the inter-site capacity is currently 400 gigabits on these links, and the site at NTT currently doesn't have any core switches. They are connected like as they would be leaf switches of the other cores. That works currently perfectly well, and we have now some questions about bigger CDNs and IBO networks connecting here. So we expect the whole thing to be upgraded, let's say Q1 next year, and to be able maybe to have here also some core switches to have proper capacity as we need it. And here we again see the advantage. If we need more capacity, we just add more boxes. That was the technical thing. And well, at the end, in 2020, we got the administrative surprise. The surprise was not so big, but there has been this NIS directive from the EU, and I guess you're not even affected now anymore, I don't know. At least we are. So there were some rumors starting in 2014 that there might come something and IXPs will be affected. So, okay. We started to investigate and see what could happen with us. And at the end, we got in February 2020 an official notice that we were identified as operator of essential services in Austria. and that means that we have to fulfill several obligations. What we questioned ourselves was, okay, at 2020 we had already the exchange point running for 24 years and our customers were not running away. So the service itself cannot be that bad, but the law then says that you have to make an audit report, and after this notice in 2020, we had 3 years to send this positive audit report in. So we made a step back and had a look of what we have to do in order to fulfill these obligations. So in fact, and many of you might have some ISO certifications also, you have to have some paper that describes what you are doing. So in the past we did it only, but didn't write it down to make it short. So we had now some staff members acquired to have a look what paperwork has to be generated in order to be able to show the auditors how we work. And at the end, we have been very happy to have a positive audit report. To make this easier for us and to not run into this in the wrong direction, we decided to not make one big audit and then get a result, but at least in Austria, it was able to make partial audits. So in case something would go wrong or we would move into the wrong direction, we got some hints and could repair that on our path and don't have a negative result at the end. So at the end, we have had time until February 2023. We were able to do that. We sent the final report in time and we had done everything. Done, is that right? No. There is coming the NIST Directive number 2, which will be in effect from October on. Exchange points are in, universities are out, by the way, so we don't know at the moment how this will affect us. But regardless how we would be affected or not, we decided that it's a good idea to fulfill all the standards that are required, to have a certain level of quality we can show to our customers that we provide. So, and with this, I come to kind of congratulations. During the preparation of this presentation, I also realized that LINX is turning 30. I think the big party will be in autumn, but since I'm not sure if I'm here in autumn, I will use this moment here to congratulate you for these 30 years of running LINX. And especially, I'm not sure if this is the current slogan, but this working for the good of the internet is something I really liked, because this is also our intention and our attitude. And I think this is something we Wix and LINX have in common. Yeah, with this, I'm close the presentation. I'm happy for any questions. And by the way, if you know somebody who wants to work in a university computer center, we are also always looking for people.
Thank you. Any questions? Yep, down the front.
Thank you for that. In terms of your membership, is that primarily content providers or connectivity providers or businesses, or do you have a mix of all of it?
This changed over the last 28 years. When we started Wix, it was really only the local internet service providers that connected to each other and wanted to just save money because they need less upstream. Currently, we have a broad mixture of content delivery networks, eyeball networks, and gaming providers. And also from the historical point of view, Vienna has really good relationships to the east and southeast of Europe. So there are many providers from this Balkan area connected to Vienna. So if you want to get better connectivity to them, this is maybe a good idea. Not only the contracts and the prices are publicly on the web page available, but also the member list. So if you want to look this up, it's easily to find at vix.it. But in general, then to answer your question short, I would say it's a broad mixture.
And with the introduction of the NIS and the NIS2 and the impact it's had on you, you said you added additional staff. Is that to the university side of it or to the VIX side of it?
You mean if we got additional staff for?
you took on additional staff in order to do the documentation
Yeah.
on this? Was that VIX took them on or the university?
Well, we are all staff member of the university. And in fact, how should I say that? We reused current staff. So that would in reality mean we have less resources for other things. So we had 2 people that were, let's say, with organizational duties that focused more on that. Maybe this is also a reason where we don't have regular member meetings.
Lovely. Any more questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.